Okay, we're inside the RV now, and next up is our iPad mount. So I 3D printed a couple of brackets to hold the iPad in here. And this iPad is a 12.9-inch iPad Pro with a cellular option. And what that means is, with the cellular options, it means that it has a built-in GPS. So we can download the maps and everything from inside the house when we plan our route, and have waypoints and gas stations and rest stops and all that stuff programmed in, and then download the maps onto this. So when we're traveling, we can use all that navigation without any type of connectivity. We don't use any cellular or Wi-Fi or anything. It's just all offline, and we love that. It's really great for traveling and navigating. And so the way this works is this iPad just fits in here. There's a couple of brackets that fit into these openings right here. These are 3D printed brackets. It fits in there. The iPad just slides in there like that, and it holds it. This is the display for our Patriot braking system. We tow a Jeep, and that's what we use for that, and it just sits right here. I put a little piece of Velcro right there, and it's attached to that bracket. All right, next up is the backup camera. So this backup camera, I got it on Amazon. It's about $100, and it's a Halo View MC7601. And it's a wired version. They make a wireless one, but I went with the wired one just because I think it's a little more reliable. And I bolted, this is the stock bracket that comes with it here, and I bolted it to this piece here. This console piece just pulls off and snaps off, so you can get to behind there. And then I cut some little holes in this plastic piece here so the bracket would clear. And then I removed the rear view mirror, so it sits up there really nice. It doesn't block our view at all, and it's perfect. We love it because you can really see what you're towing. You can see behind you, and so it's a lot nicer driving. And so to run the wires, I just ran the wires up through here, took all this stuff off here, which is pretty easy, and then ran the wires up above the door up here. Behind this, I took this off, and behind here there's the control module for the awning, and there's a switched 12 volt power right up there. So that's what powers it. So when you turn the key on, all that comes on. And then the wires for the rear view camera run up through here, and I'll go up on the roof and I'll show you where they come out up here, and how they run back to the camera on the back. So there's the camera up on the top. I basically just screwed it on the top, and I'll jump up there and show you how that's connected and how I ran the wires. Okay, so it's just screwed onto the fiberglass right here, and I just sealed it really good around there. And then the wire runs through here along the top up here, and to pass through the seal right here. So the wire comes up through the bottom, and there's a hole, about a 1-inch hole right here, and this plate is sealed all the way around the edge. So that's how the wire for the camera gets inside. All right, next up is the sound deadening material. I added this sound deadening material to the floor and both of the door panels. I took the door panels off and added it on the inside all the way around there. And after doing it, we really didn't notice any difference in the sound inside. And it was already pretty quiet, so probably not the best upgrade. Okay, here's a simple one. We added this soft foam footrest right here, and it makes it more comfortable driving when you can put your feet up a little bit, especially when you have the seat angled back a little bit. Okay, up next is the insulation that we added to all the windows in the RV. We went to Lowe's and bought a roll of this Reflectix material, and we just cut it out and put it in the windows. Now the driver and passenger side, we just kind of wedged it up in the gap there. We just opened the door and pushed that up in there and then closed the door, and that's what holds it in place. But I think it really helps to reduce the temperature, especially in the summer when it's pretty hot outside. Okay, next up is the coffee maker drawer. So in here, in the cabinet right below the sink, I made a little slider drawer, basically just out of some plywood, and a couple of drawer slides right there. And that holds the coffee maker right here. And the plug plugs into, underneath here, there's a outlet that's for the induction cooktop. So I just plugged it in along with the cooktop there. And so basically it just sits right on this, and we can make coffee and slide it right back in there. It's out of sight. Okay, next up is I used some of this 3M Scotch-Brite pad to restore the sink. The sink gets scratched up pretty easily, and this 3M Scotch-Brite is works really good for cleaning it up. But the trick is to glue a little piece of it to some wood and use a even back and forth motion. You don't want to use like a circular motion, or it'll be able to see it. So the idea is that you're kind of removing the scratches and leaving some scratches that line up sort of with the original scratches that were in it. I also 3D printed a little strainer here that goes in the bottom just to keep any debris out of the gray tank. Okay, next up are the springs to hold these cabinet doors open. The regular hinges don't really do a good job of holding it open. So I added these springs here. They kind of look like gas shocks, but it's really just a spring in there. Got those on Amazon. I added one on each side because it wasn't quite strong enough to with just one on one side, and I added those to all the cabinets, and it really does a good job of holding the cabinet doors open. Okay, next up is this little wand here for the blinds. It tends to bang around a lot when you're driving, so I went to Home Depot and picked up a little magnet and some heat shrink tubing and just stuck it on there, and it just sticks right up there. It doesn't rattle. Okay, here's another upgrade that we did that we really like. This is called the Level Mate Pro, and it's basically a digital level, and it shows on your smartphone how much you have to raise each of the wheels in inches to be level. And when we first got this RV, we kind of struggled with leveling. We had a level we put on the floor, and then we used those stackable Lego type blocks to try to get it level, and it was kind of a big job to get it, you know, basically level. But with this, it makes it really easy. And also in combination with this, we got some of those ramps that you drive up on. So it's super simple. We just look at this on our phone when we pull up, and it tells us, hey, the front right has to go up 3.5 inches, and we put the ramp under the wheel and drive it up until this reads almost 0, plus or minus maybe 1/2 inch or so, and we're level. Really just takes a couple of minutes, and so we're really happy with it. We mounted it inside the cabinet that's right above the sink behind the TV. Okay, up in that same cabinet we installed a Wii Boost system. We just installed this a couple weeks ago and haven't really had a chance to test it out yet, but I'll hop up on the roof and I'll show you what the antenna looks like up there. I just ran the antenna up through the port up here that goes up to the roof. Okay, we're up here on the roof now, and here is the Wii Boost antenna. Basically, that's the antenna right there, and it's connected to just a long piece of pipe. It comes down here, and I connected it to the ladder with a marine antenna mount. This just unscrews here, and then the whole antenna will pivot up here, and it sticks up in the air about 10 feet or so. And I clamp that. We only use it when we're parked. We never use it when we're driving. But That's the antenna right there. Okay, next up, I 3D printed a little bracket to hold this refrigerator door and freezer door open. It's just a little bracket like that, and it fits into this other little piece here, and it just holds the door, both the doors open, so it doesn't get moldy inside. Okay, along with 3D printing the little bracket part to keep the refrigerator open, I 3D printed a little piece to hold the soap. This just holds a Myers soap bottle here, and it just snaps right onto the faucet there, and it keeps the soap from falling around when we're driving. Okay, in the shower, I also 3D printed a couple little mounts to hold some shampoo and some body wash too. These are just the regular Myers soap bottles that we used the soap out and then filled them up with the body wash and the shampoo. And I used some double-sided sticky tape to attach it to the side of the shower. Okay, next up is fixing the water leak. So we had a water leak here at the water pump, and what it turned out to be is this white flexible hose right here was connected directly to this PEX fitting with one of these PEX clamps on it. And the problem there is that this hose is quite a bit bigger diameter than the inside diameter of the PEX tubing. So there was a gap there, and so water was dripping out. So what I did was I added this short piece of PEX tubing, and it's the proper tubing for this PEX fitting here with the PEX type crimp connector or hook clamp there. And then I added this special little adapter which adapts the PEX tube to the larger diameter flex tube. And then I used the PEX type crimp on here and a hose clamp on there. And that sealed it up. There was also about 4 or 5 other different locations on this RV that had that same issue, and I fixed all those. Most of those were under the shower. Okay, something I noticed when I was making this video is that the water tank looks like it's about half full. It's just the level's just below that middle sensor there, and we just got back from camping in the desert on the weekend, and the gauge above the refrigerator said it was 1/3 full. So I'm guessing that when the water level's right below that middle sensor, that it senses 1/3, and it probably doesn't sense empty till it's down at the bottom. So we were conserving water quite a bit because we were worried about running out. So it looks like this is going to be my next mod, is to add maybe a sea level monitoring system which has a sensor that runs from the top all the way to the bottom, and it gives you a continuous percentage readout of how much water you actually have left. Okay, that's it. So I learned about most of these mods from the View Navion Motorhomes Facebook group. I would definitely check them out. There's a ton of really good information on that site. Also, I put a link down below for all the files for the 3D printed parts. So thanks for watching.